recording. So what we've just done without the recording is a listing of things that are changeable. And we took them in as though we were age 25. Are we our grades at school? Yes. Are we our thoughts? Yes. Why age 25? Because we haven't been around the block yet spiritually. And now we know the right answers. But that covers up our beliefs that we are these things. So now I'm going to put on that video. Here we go. Let's see. Share screen. Okay.
Thank you. I was immersed in love yesterday in my heart, and I was just flying high. And then today, it was like, wait a minute, there's love, and then there's longing, and oh my gosh, what do I do when I go to the store? You know, where am I, and what am I doing? How do I give attention to the the self in my physical reality? That sort of passed. My question now is, I was born into this life with a lot of ancestral trauma that I've been discovering, a lot of depression, a lot of fear. And I was good with, feeling the feelings to get back to the I of I am. Until it comes to depression or fear, they seem so much overwhelming. And I still wake up in the morning with a sense of void and depression. And basically the question is, and I've done a lot of study and various people all my life. I mean, I was, right after my first Buddhist course, I wanted to be enlightened to end all my suffering. And then 50 years later, I'm still suffering, but getting better at it. So the question is, what is the process? What is the how to keep going? Is it just a practice of awareness and knowing the I of John Smith is real, or the I of King Lear is really the I of John Smith, and using that for myself, and listening to meditation. It's kind of like I'm looking for how to go forward to continue the process of awakening to joy and happiness.
Jim, with depression, turning your attention away from the depression towards the presence of awareness or the self. In my experience, and I don't mean my experience of depression, but my experience of people who suffer from depression, it's not very effective. The depression is more powerful than their ability. Very often, not always the case. The depression is more powerful, and that's why with depression, I wouldn't recommend that approach. The approach I would recommend is, in other words, I wouldn't recommend turning away from your depression. That's just an extension of what you've been doing all your life. It's a more subtle approach than the previous approaches, which involved avoiding your depression through other means. So that it's true that this would be the most subtle means of turning away from your depression towards the one that is aware of it. But even more powerful, even more effective, I would suggest, is turning towards your depression. Have you ever not just turned towards your depression, but really embraced it, loved it? Have you ever turned towards your depression and felt I love you.
No, I have done that briefly at times with fear, which is probably similar in some ways.
But I think the depression, just my intuition, is that the depression in you is deeper.
Right.
Than the fear.
I had a session and I was told that I'm carrying 55 generations of depression on my father's side.
Yeah, so the depression is very deep. And as you rightly said, it's not personal, you've inherited it. But I would recommend, Jim, not turning away from it towards the presence of awareness. That doesn't mean to say that you can't practice that. Do practice self-inquiry, turning away, asking yourself, what is it that is aware of my experience? But with depression specifically, when you feel depression, practice self-inquiry in relation to all your other experiences, your thoughts, your perceptions, your activities. But with depression, turn towards it, sit down, close your eyes, feel the depression. Don't just turn towards it. Don't just embrace it, love it. And I mean, like you know what it's like to love a person, to really love a person. It's like that. And the person might not be, you may have a very difficult child but it makes no difference at all. You love them fiercely, however difficult they are, whatever they may be going through a difficult patch or what, you love them fiercely. It's the same. It's unconditional love. It has nothing to do, just as the love has nothing to do with the behavior of your child. So in this case, the love have nothing to do with the quality of the emotion. You love it unconditionally. You welcome it, you bring it close, you bring it into your heart, you bathe it with love. You hold it in the arms of your heart. And that's it. Don't for no reason. If you do it for a reason, that's like the old habit of trying to get rid of it. No, you don't try and get rid of your child who's being difficult. No, you bring them close forever.
Right. Yeah.
Try that.
I will. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And in doing this, Jim, in a way that we can't really understand, and it's difficult to talk about, but you will be helping not only yourself, but your family, your previous generations. Somehow you will be helping them. Take care, Jim. I wish you the very best.
Thank you, Rupert.
Okay, so now I would like you to pick whatever you brought. If you saw the reminder that said, bring your depression, I wouldn't say your depression, I would call it the depression, or bring whatever is most disturbing in your life. If it's a person, if it's an action, if it's, we're gonna do the regular Course in Miracles things later, taking responsibility. But right now, I want you to get into it, if you would, as though the problem is the other person, if that's the way it comes up for you, or the problem is an emotion or an addiction, or it doesn't matter what it is. I won't ask you to tell anyone unless you want to, so you can be as ruggedly honest. We are going to bring up our darkest shadow, and we're going to completely love on it like it's our answered prayer, like it's our cherished newborn, like it's everything we've ever wanted. And I'm going to be quiet a minute. Raise your hand if you have something you've avoided, something you don't like. Anybody doesn't have something, anything that annoys them? Suzanne, you don't have anything? Your hand is up still. You have nothing? You have something?
Yes. I'm raising my hand.
Okay,
Oh, did you want me to do it here? I'm sorry.
that's all right. Anybody doesn't have a thing that they can work on, in the sense, bring in close. I don't want too much talking yet. But I just want to know if somebody doesn't have something. Everybody has something. Okay. So now bring it in, wrap your arms around it, see it, feel it, know it. I'm going to be quiet a minute. Bring it back and bring it so close. You're almost in tears, in love with this thing that you've been trying to get rid of. It's been in your stomach, it's been in your back, it's been a stressor. And now there's only welcome. Welcome in this moment. There's no barrier between you and the love for this. Feel what it's like to be in the company of this in a relaxed way. This feeling, this thought, this experience, this energy. Feel what it's like the way you used to do it, trying to push it away, trying to change it, trying to get rid of it, trying to not judge it. And now open your arms again and be in the now. Be in this moment of present happiness with no story except open arms. You are unlimited power. You are not a personal self. You are what watches the personal self. You are what is noticing what's going on now. You are the you that you've always been and always will be. Not a body, not a separate person, just this everything that's always been. Eternal, unlimited, the love of God, God incarnate today. And when we know this, we start to live accordingly. When we don't live that way, it's when we've forgotten who we are. So you're welcome to come back. And if you feel like sharing, that'd be lovely. What was that like for anyone? Lynn, please.
Hello, beautiful souls, mighty companions. I recently fell, and I think I broke my wrist. I'm going to orthopedist, and all that was going through my mind is, I'm stupid. I shouldn't have. This shouldn't have happened. Blah 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 blah. And then I realized how grateful I was that it wasn't worse. Like my head was this close to a glass door.
Mm.
So I'm taking care. I'm taking care.
Thanks, Lynn. Did that help you love on what happened? Did that help you love on your wrist, your hand, your body? Did it feel like love? Did it?
Oh,
feel-
yeah.
Yeah. You're
It
very-
needs me. It needs me.
Yes, yes, I could see you caressing. Yes, that's so beautiful. Thank you. Anybody else? John, I'm called to ask you, was there something that happened for you?
Hmm?
John?
Oh, yeah. Something did happen because I read my story of unwanted, unloved, and unlovable. And I've never approached it from this angle before. And it was a unique experience. And it's recently popped up its story again. So the way that it came to me was it was like a combo, and I'm loving my combo.
Mhm. Beautiful.
So it's kind of depersonalized it in a sense. I'm not dealing with a little boy or anything like that. I'm dealing with a combo that's just being loved up. That's so I don't know where this is going, but it sure felt good. Thank you, and thank you for asking me, Rosalind. That's so beautiful of you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you so much, John. And Karen, you have your hand up. And I don't know, Rich, do you have your hand up
I
too?
have my hand up. No, just me. So that was really an amazing experience for me because I kind of got into it and sort of dropped into that space. But I'm still talking to myself and saying, okay, what can I work on? What's important? And I thought, well, I've just had some feedback recently that I overtalk people too much. People that know me might believe that. And so I was thinking, well, I could work on that. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I get this image of myself as a little boy. And I remember, because people that have been around me know that I've been reading this information my mother sent me about my growing up. She wrote it for me before she died. And one of the things she said when I was a little boy, like 2 years old, I had an older brother, who's 2 years older than me. And she said, you never did talk very much because Bobby always talked a lot. And you finally had to get him to be quiet so you could talk. So then here I am, this little, in my image there, and when I'm in this space, this little boy, and then I was able to say, I'll make room, there'll be room for you. If you're just patient, there's always enough time, there's always enough space, there's always enough love, there's always enough everything. So just be calm and take, and find and use the space. So that was and it was just, the image just popped in my head, like,
Wow.
I was startled because it was like, wow.
Beautiful, Rich. Thank
Yeah,
you.
cool. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, yeah. Anybody else? Elizabeth, how was that for you? Elizabeth?
I didn't hear the name. It was interesting. I have a situation going on, and I approached it by loving it and just wrapping my arms around it. And I didn't see any resolution, but it's a better it's a better feeling place.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You sounds like you have a better physical approach, that your heart is open, and that you're not, think of when you're worried about something, your fists are like this. And when
Yeah.
you relax, then more is possible. There's more creativity in your hands and in your body and in your mind and your spirit. So I would continue with that love on it when you go to sleep
Exactly.
tonight, and ask that you be shown that you are completely guided, and when you need to know, you'll be told. But it's happening. Love, that's everything, right? That's what the Course says.
Yeah.
Your dove will give us the precise lines that would fit with what we're doing. Thank you, Elizabeth. Was there more?
Yes. I am very open, and so I know that I will be guided, because I'm guided every day.
Mhm.
And so it's not my problem to solve. I welcome the solution.
Yes, that's beautiful. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah.
Dove, what would you say fits with what we're doing here, what we're experiencing?
Well, if you're expecting me to say something from A Course in Miracles, I'm not, because I kind of looked at what the Course says, and I don't see anything, but I like to share my own experience.
Love that. We'd love that.
Today, I had an experience where a very good friend called me up and asked me a question about the Course in Miracles. Now, she knows the Course, but she wanted some deeper understanding. And the question was about, does God have anything to do with our skeletal frame? And looking at it from a pure Course perspective, God doesn't make anything that comes and goes, that changes. So it's really content versus form. God doesn't know about form, which is always something that starts in time and ends in time. And she really didn't want to accept that answer. She kept asking the same question many different ways, until finally I got upset. And then she asked me the question, why are you getting upset? And the first time she asked, I kind of, let it go by. And then she asked the same question, why are you getting upset? And finally, I said, well, you know something? I was walking my dog, and I'm eating lunch, and if you don't want to hear the answer, go ask somebody else. Leave me alone. And she said, I will. And she hung up, and I felt so bad that I got upset. So during this process, I took a look at it as, and I started looking at it with the idea, can I love it? And looking at that, I love it. I got that whenever somebody doesn't accept me, doesn't accept what I'm saying, which is really, I gave her the best of my understanding of what the Course is saying. She didn't accept it. And I got very defensive, and I saw it as an attack on me. But I've been here so many times. It's almost like, who was it? It was Rich or John who said, I've been here so many times before. When I was a kid, I was rejected. Like so what? I don't know. I'm going to end it there, because I saw that I actually get some enjoyment out of it.
Mm.
It's almost like a game. It's almost like a game. All right. You don't accept me, you reject me. And I've been rejected by a lot of people. It's okay. I go through a life of rejection, but so what? It's really a so what.
Mm. And did the love go all the way down to your heart? Did it work? Did you experience it?
yeah, I got to smile about it. I got to smile. And there was a part of me that felt sorry for myself.
Mhm,
When you feel sorry for yourself, you actually enjoy it.
mhm, mhm. Beautiful.
Uh,
Thank you, Dove. Suzanne, thank you.
Well, to add on to what Dove was saying, I've been working on this situation for a long time, too long. And so I decided to do the work the other day and I failed miserably. I did it personally with somebody, did the work, and I just failed. And at the end of the day, I was like, what am I missing? What am I missing? And then I remembered some of the things that Rupert said. But in the work, Byron Katie takes it to where sort of Dove took it, to say to yourself, well, I enjoy this. I enjoy that that person didn't want to listen to me. I'm going to accept that. And I need to change so that I can do that. I can love all of it, not just love the fact that, you know, I'm depressed, that kind of thing, but be able to say, I think what Rupert said was the first time I'd ever heard that. And it really worked for me. The idea that I worked with children all my life. And so you work with handicapped children and you never understand their parents, never understand. This helped me to understand all of that, because what was happening is didn't make any difference who these children were, what they did. You loved them and you accepted everything about them. And so by making these problems, these irritating people, all of that, and asking to see things differently, you then can say, you know, I'm going to love that or laugh at it. Like, you know, like Dove did, to be able to just, I accept it all, just accept everything, all the things that have happened, but don't beat yourself up. Don't hate yourself. Don't be the victim. And that's difficult. But all those pieces between what Rupert said, what Byron Katie said, what Dove said, all of it comes together and says the same thing to me, that I'm the one that needs to change. I'm the one that needs to see it differently.
Well, Rupert wouldn't talk about your changing. He would talk about your allowing, which is a change. But the minute you talk about changing, you have that tug of war, you know, because you have the part
Right. It's the seeing things with in God's view. It's seeing things in God's view rather than that ego view that I'm the victim.
Right. And getting out of our heads and into our hearts.
Right.
Is it a recording?
Thinking is so much trouble.
And that's really hard for me.
Yes, you're a thinker.
I'm a thinker.
Yes. Thank you, Suzanne. Rika?
Yes, good evening, family and friends. Thank you for allowing me to be here with you today. I send you love and life from my heart to your spirit. And this was so good, Rosalind. I've been working a little bit with Susan on Michael Langford's Loving All method. So I've been a little prepped on trying to doing that. However, I had a situation. Have, and I tried it again a little more intentionally. And I put myself into it, and I tried loving everything about this individual. Now, this individual has done absolutely nothing to me. What's killing me is my expectations of this individual, and I tried to love that. And I think I was successful, but I won't know until I see tomorrow, is my behavior, my attitude going to match what's going on in this monkey mind. I'm willing, I'm able, I'm going to, but I check myself sometimes. I need to see, is my attitude and my behavior going to be in that love?
Let's just check in one more way, and everybody can do this the same with their own. Is there any part of you that wants to get rid of some feeling that you have? The feeling
Loving
that you have
feelings or
toward
negative
this
ones?
person, the feeling, whatever's going on from you toward this person. Is that that can be described as a feeling or what?
I'm not sure it's a feeling, it's more of an expectation.
Well, an expectation is a want, a desire.
Okay.
Okay. But you're wanting that to change. You want that expectation to go away. You want to get rid of that, right?
Totally.
Okay. So now let's love on the expectation, not the person. Let's love on the expectation that you want to change and bring it so close. Feel that expectation. Feel how they disappointed you. Feel how they're not what you want. Feel it and then bring it all the way in with as much love as is in your heart. That what's the most loving experience you can think of? Is it God? Is it a waterfall? Is it, do you know what I'm saying? Is it an animal? Is it a person? Bring it with that and more love than you've ever known. You love this thing you want to get rid of. Bring it close, close, close. See the colors, see it, and everybody do the same with any part that you still want to get rid of. Bring it closer and say, welcome. You can stay here forever. Awareness is big enough to hold you too.
Okay.
There is nothing that we cannot hold together. There is no separate self. That is only apparent. What is real is the me that's always been here, that's never left. And that is big enough to hold this expectation. Is it even as big as it was?
It's slightly different, but I know me, I'm going to take that in and hold on to it. And when this is over, I'm going to really sit and do that.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and I won't be on a time limit.
Yes. And you won't feel like people are watching you or so on.
I don't mind people watching me.
Yeah. Okay. So, but everybody has the idea, if you are willing to be rigorously honest and know that you're trying to get rid of it, almost don't bother. Because you might feel a little better, but getting rid of it is the block. That's why it hasn't moved through. Feelings, thoughts, emotions, all these things move right on through, except when we have an attachment where we want to get rid of it or we want to hold on to it. Either way, the aversion or the identification, we want to keep it. Otherwise, these things, you can't hold these things otherwise. Try to remember how you felt on the Ferris wheel or some wonderful feeling as a child, or yesterday. They go. But when we resist, right? The 12 steps, what we resist persists. That's the truth. But now we're seeing it. So if you have a headache, you start going, oh, that head. Now I'm tensing up, I'm stressing, I'm fighting the headache. But I say, oh, I have a headache. I've never had a headache like this before. Oh my goodness, I love this headache. What's it like? Oh, I'm seeing some stars and some colors. It feels like there's a little bit of weaving in my head because it feels so tight. I've never had a headache like this. Oh, I could put my arms around this headache. This is such an interesting experience to love on a headache. I never thought I could live and love and enjoy a headache, but this is going to be a really new experience that I'm looking forward to. You can stay forever. I mean that. I'm going to mean it more this next minute and even more this next minute. And you're going to show me things I never knew before. You're my new teacher. Thank you for coming here. I welcome you. I breathe with you. I breathe into you. I'm making space for you. I allow you to the best of my ability. I allow you, and I know there'll be even more room to allow you. This is what love is. Love is letting go, right? Love is letting go of fear. Love is letting go of restraint and tension and fighting and resistance. I am one with you. Oh, a headache. Oh, tension. You can do that with anything.
Thank you, Rosalind. I got it.
You have it. You have to be curious. You have to be just willing to be taught, because we can't really welcoming. We don't know how to do that. And yet there's nothing that can't be welcomed. Anybody have a comment? Robin, please.
Just first to say hello to Elizabeth. I don't ever see her, but hello. That was so beautiful. You're just that demonstration. And, you know, for me and for all of us, A Course in Miracles is always saying you have a choice. And one of the choices is love. And this simple way of turning towards that which you really don't want to look at and embracing it is just a huge shift for me this evening. And it's so lovely because I already know that love is the answer. It's always the answer, but really incorporating or taking that in to where I could do and be what you were doing and being with something that is upsetting for me at any time, and even those deeper wounds. So thank you so much.
So welcome. Freedom Cartwright, raise your hand if you know Freedom. Most of you do, some of you do, almost everybody does. Freedom asked me quite a few months after Melissa died. I don't think it was a year, but she asked me, could I love it? I said, could I love it? I can accept it. Can I love it? Does that mean I agree with it? Yeah, I agree with it because it happened. But can I love it? I don't know if I could say those words because I was still thinking of it as Hollywood love. Like, oh, you're gone, like your partner across the room, that kind of love. Like, how does that work? You know, but there is no part of it now that I don't love. It seems a little crazy to say I love it because I don't Hollywood love it, but there is no resistance. And there is I don't think there's any part that feels it should have been different. Would I enjoy it? That's a whole other question if it were different, you know. If it's not my, do you see what I'm saying? I think everybody understands. So it's possible to get there with anything because we don't really know what's on the other side. Rico doesn't know what's on the other side of allowing that expectation. I hope you'll tell us sometime come back when the expectation is gone, or when that word turns into something else and you find out maybe it was another something that, you know, these things morph. We don't, well, sometimes we're the last to find out what something was, right? Because we're blind and about ourselves. We're so smart about other people, but sometimes we're blind about ourselves. So willing to be taught and shown. And I just have a strong feeling that Rico's expectations going to turn into something else that we're all going to want to know about. So I hope you come back. Yeah. And Lynn, thank you.
I just want to say, Rosin, thank you so much for that headache thing. I have a headache, so I was going with you, and it felt so good. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, there was a healer that Melissa and I went to. We traveled a bit before she passed. We didn't know. Angels visited her starting in July. We went to Lorna Byrne in May, and I think around July, and then we traveled to get some training together. And this man would come into the room and he said, "Who has a crooked neck? My neck's bothering me," because he could feel what was in the room. And another time he'd go, "Oh, somebody's stomach." And always people would raise their hand. I don't know what that was, but I'd never been to anything like that. So that's what made me think of Lynn. All right. Anybody else have something that, yes, Elizabeth and Rafi and
Yeah.
John, yes.
And so I just wanted to throw in a couple of pennies on the headache thing. I had a previous meeting and I learned a piece of information about headaches. And my colleague was telling me that her friend who had severe migraine headaches, one day she ate some rosemary, just the herb rosemary, and the headache went away. And so because it's been mentioned a couple of times, I thought I would just sprinkle that in.
All
So-
right. Thank you, Elizabeth.
You're welcome.
John, yeah. Did you have your hand up? No, somebody else had their hand up.
Rafi.
Rafi, thank you.
Yeah, it started when you said go back to age 25. And I started watching him, Rafi, go through the experiences that he was having at age 25, working for Candid Camera and other things and making films with my friends. And then I started watching him at this age. And I could see him processing, going through issues about money, wealth, and success. And I had the love for him got so strong and so powerful that I just kept saying, give me those programs, give me the concepts, give me the fears, give me the attachments, give me the aversions, give me all the resistance, just give them all to me. You don't have to carry that stuff around anymore. I got it from you. I got it from you. I got it from you. And then, of course, I just let it all go. And I started seeing him more as light than the image having experiences. It was quite an interesting situation.
Wow, how gorgeous. Wow. And I have the feeling of you getting bigger and bigger and more infinite and more powerful, able to hold all, I want to say, the nonsense and just be the energy. Yeah, thank you. John's hand was raised, and then Dove.
Go ahead, John. You're John. You're muted.
I apologize. I'm too wrapped up in my program.
Okay.
I want to say what's come to me as a takeaway as I've looked at this, and I really love this, Rosalind, because what I'm looking at now is I'm embracing, and I'm loving and allowing, and I'm even trusting them, my combo, because I've recognized, at one time they did have a positive intention for me, and so hey, it's all good, it's all good, and this is totally okay, and I'm not getting rid of anybody here, and I'm not changing anything. You're welcome aboard, and welcome to the party. So I love it, and I feel I feel kind of something emotional going on for me right now, but that's a signal that of an acceptance. So thank you so much, everybody.
Yes,
Especially you, Rosalind.
it's very touching. I can feel how that acceptance is so touching. It's so much heart opening compared to fighting, and resisting is fighting, and getting rid of is fighting. We're done. We're tired. We don't need to do that anymore. We've tried it. If we need to experiment and go be reminded, it's always there. But we have this now too. And Dove, thank you.
Okay, I'll attempt to give you the Course in Miracles way of looking at the same thing. The Course doesn't analyze anything. It does ask, kind of, Robin kind of touched on it. You want to know, if I made a choice, how did I get to this place where I'm upset? So lesson 5 says, I'm never upset for the reason I think. And the answer is I'm upset because I'm listening to a madman talking to me, and I'm believing in it. That's why I'm upset. And that definitely applied to me when I felt someone wasn't accepting me, they were rejecting me, and the madman I could hear my voice rising. And of course I was listening to, you don't accept me. So when you ask the question, I'm never upset for the reason I think, and you realize that you are expecting something, you want someone to accept you, and you're expecting it. And all upsets come from the idea that I want something in the future. I want to be approved. I want to be accepted, and I'm not being accepted. Once you realize that the ego is talking to you, you say, oh, well, wait, I want to see this differently. Above all else, I want to see this differently. And you ask, and this is where everybody else is coming in. I wanted to see that I can love, and the loving answer comes from Spirit. And Spirit only loves you, accepts you exactly the way you are. What can you not accept? If you knew that everything that happens is happening for you, it's not happening against you. And then the second part of that is exactly what Ken Wapnick does. He says, then you go to lesson 34. I can choose peace now. Now I can choose the peace right now. I don't have to keep looking at this thing. I can choose the peace now. In a way, that's how the Course in Miracles saves time. It saves time by recognizing what you've been doing and asking to see it differently.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
I knew you could do that for us. Thank you, Dove. My eyes see only what I see with God. Let's take in the love that is the love of God, the love that is awareness, the love that is you, not the touchy-feely love from Hollywood, much, much bigger love, a love that expands through time and space, through all people, through all life, includes everyone, excludes no one, and is complete energy, the love field. And for that, we give thanks. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
my
you so
loving
much.
homework, Roz.
Mwah. Love you.
Hey, Lenny, I love you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Rosalind.
Paul.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it so much.
Rosalind, I recorded
Thank
the first
you.
10 minutes if you want it. I recorded it as an audio.
Okay, would you send it to me? Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Good night, mighty companions.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.